Good morning. Would we all please stand for a moment of silence, and then we'll follow that with the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to call the Washington County Board of County Commissioners November 14th, 2017 meeting to order. Okay, and there will be no approval of the November 7th meeting. We'll approve those next week or at the next meeting. And also Commissioner Myers and Commissioner Barr are unable to be with us today. So with that, we'll move down to Commissioners' reports and comments. Commissioner Kiefer.
Yeah, last week there were many great Veterans Day events. I attended one in Hancock with the Hospice of Washington County, and they had a great program. And also shared a few stories of some veteran patients of theirs. That was very heartfelt and very touching. Good event.
Yep, thank you. Commissioner Klein?
Same here. The Williamsport American Legion again wishes to thank the county commissioners for their generous donation for their World War II monument. It was estimated close to 350 people were in attendance, and there was probably a 5-minute standing ovation for the 7, 8+ World War II veterans there. It was a shining day for Washington County and for Williamsport and the Post. So thanks to all the commissioners supporting that project.
Thank you. I have nothing to report. Reports from county staff. We have any staff here today care to prepare a report? Hello, please come forward.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This morning I'm requesting an amendment to bid 1365 for swimming pool and wastewater treatment chemicals. This was awarded by the board on October 31st, 2017. I'd like to add item number 13 for potassium permanganate to this award and award it to Brentag Northeast out of Reading, Pennsylvania at the price of $3.42 a pound.
Any questions, comments, commissioners?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second for the approval. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other? Welcome back.
Thank you. Didn't want to come back. It was too nice. Here we are. Good morning, Commissioners. Here this morning to ask for some permission to use the airfield for some non-aeronautical related purposes. The FAA requires us to seek permission to use the airport for non-aviation related purposes, and we also have to file a request to them. I have 2 dates that we need to use the airfield for some purposes for approval. The first one is for a Volvo Prevost Motor Coach Ride and Drive event. That's going to be held on April 26th of next year, 2018. We did this this year with Prevost, and in return we get a $5,000 sponsorship for the Wings and Wheels Expo, and they've offered up the same sponsorship for next year's event. So we're seeking approval to use the airfield for this ride and drive event, and also the Wings and Wheels Expo 2018, which is on the books for September 8th, 2018. Because we have vehicles and so forth on the airfield, it's considered part of a non-aviation related event, so we have to seek the FAA's approval and your approval as well. So we're here this morning seeking approval for the ride and drive event and the Wings and Wheels for 2018.
We could either do a motion or a consensus.
Okay with me, either way.
All right. So we're fine with it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Phil.
Any other staff care to present a report? County Administrator.
Thank you, President Baker. Superintendent Boyd Michael sent a letter late yesterday from President Melissa Williams of the Board of Education, and that letter is requesting a supplemental agreement to the February 2017 MOU regarding the Urban Improvement Project. And all the commissioners, this is, again, just came in yesterday. However, all the commissioners have both a hard copy and an electronic copy of that request. With that is the funding matrix that's been provided previously, and with that is the original MOU for comparison and contrast. So a request, the letter is stamped time sensitive, and a request has been made for response by November 30th. Naturally, you don't meet next week. However, the following week you do. There is some staff here that is also working diligently upon the request, as it does have various considerations to be taken into account. So I just wanted to share that with you. We do have other updates that I'll wait to share with you later regarding some other information that I still have yet to gather. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, any other staff reports? Boards and commissions? Okay, moving right along to citizens' participation. We have any citizens here today to care to participate? Seeing none. Intergovernmental Cooperative Purchase, PUR 1343, Hagerstown Regional Airport Virtual Perimeter Monitoring Systems, known as VPMS, and their upgrades, Ms. Noggle and Mr. Rodnair.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
My first recommendation this morning is for the intergovernmental cooperative purchase for the Hagerstown Regional Airport for their virtual perimeter monitoring systems upgrades. I move to authorize by resolution the approval of the purchase and upgrade of wireless technology for the virtual perimeter monitoring systems for Skyline Technology Solutions out of Glenburnie, Maryland, at the contract unit prices totaling $149,883.18 based on the contract awarded by Carroll County government. Section 106.3 of the Public Laws of Washington County grants authorization for the county to procure goods and services under contracts entered into by other government entities. On items over $50,000, a determination to allow and participate in intergovernmental cooperative purchasing agreements shall be by resolution and shall indicate that the participation will provide cost benefits to the county or result in administrative efficiencies and savings or provide other jurisdictions for the arrangement. Acquisition of the equipment by utilizing Carroll County's contract and eliminating the county's bid process would result in administrative efficiencies for Hagerstown Regional Airport and the purchasing department, as well as overall better pricing due to economies of scale offered by this contract. The contract term was effective September 1st of this year through October 31st of 18. Funding in the amount of $341,116 is available in the department's capital improvement plan. There is a grant participation from Maryland Aviation Administration in the amount of $112,500 to cover the state's portion of the allowable cost. The county's portion of allowable cost is $37,383.18.
Any questions, commissioners? If none, motion to move forward.
Motion to move forward.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the recommended motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Contracts award PUR 1364, hauling of scrap tires from the 40 West Landfill for recycling. Ms. Noggle and Mr. Mason. How are you two today?
Good.
Again.
My second recommendation today is for the contract award PUR 1364 for the hauling of scrap tires for the 40 West Landfill for recycling. I move to award the contract for the hauling of the scrap tires to the responsive bidder, Emmanuel Tire Company out of Baltimore, Maryland, based on estimated annual quantities at units cost at the sum totaling $13,600. The contract is for 1 year with the option for the county to renew up to 3 additional consecutive one-year periods. The contract tentatively commencing January 1st, 2018. The bid was advertised on the State of Maryland's eMaryland Marketplace website, the county's website, and in the local newspaper. 18 different vendors downloaded the document. We got 2 bids back on October 18th, as stated in the bid matrix. The Solid Waste Department has sufficient funds for this. They have $12,000 remaining in their tire recycling account, $63,000 remaining in their other recycling account.
Any questions, comments?
Yeah, do we receive any money for recycling the tires when we,
No, we pay to have them hauled out.
we have a cost for that recycle?
Correct.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second for the approval. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 3-0. Thank you. Pump station, PO number 1, upgrades, Mark Bradshaw. Good morning.
Morning. I have a change order here for the upgrade of the PO1 pump station, which is located out off of Governor Lane Boulevard. During the construction, we were going to put in brand-new VFD drives for the pumps, and we ran into a electrical code compliance issue. We did not have enough clear space in front of the panels to meet the code, so we end up having to move the VFD panels from where they've shown on the drawings. And of course, we already had all the wiring done and everything, which the contractor had to go in and remove and rewire everything. And we have an expense for the VFDs of $47,071.15. And we did have an existing controller in there. It's called a BeelerTech. We plan to use the BeelerTech controller with our new pumps and VFD drives, but we soon discovered when we went to hook it up that the BeelerTech controller will not talk to our new VFD drives. Some type of communication software, and we talked to the BeelerTech reps, and we got quotes for a controller from them to do all the work, and their controls seemed high, so we went ahead and we looked into other control systems, and we found another one that we're using at the Conicajig plant as part of that upgrade that was less than the BeelerTech. So we're looking to install a new control system for $40,926.63. We do have money in the account to cover these 2 change orders.
VFD.
Variable frequency drives. It lets you speed the pumps up and down. We have the horsepower on these pumps are 50 horsepower pumps. The power company charges you based on the inrush power, and if you energize a 50 horsepower pump all at once, that's a real high spike, where for VFD, we can ramp that pump up from off to on like a 30-second time frame, so the power consumption is a lot less, and also allows us to adjust our pump rates based upon what the inflow is coming. We can ramp the pumps up or down based on what the flows are to kind of match the inflow.
Thank you. Don't quiz me on that.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Motion to move forward as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 3-0. Thank you. Okay, now the best part of the meeting today, Youth Meritorious Award presentations. Do we have everyone present here? All 3 recipients here?
That one name pops up twice on this list.
I
What's
know.
that all about?
I know.
Good morning, Commissioners, President Baker.
Good
Morning.
Jim Host, Director of Office of Community Grant Management. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you. This is Tiffany Miller. Tiffany's a Senior Office Associate in the office. She's been with us a couple of months now. for our first Youth Meritorious Award. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners and Administration. The following individuals have been selected for the Youth Meritorious Award for the month of November. These students were nominated to receive this award by their teachers, school administrators, or parents. They were selected based on their scholastic achievement, leadership qualities, community service performed, or other positive contributions to their school and community. These exceptional youths have consistently worked and distinguished themselves as model students and members of our county. It is my pleasure to present the following youths for recognition today. Taylor Shea, 8th grade student at Northern Middle School. Megan Domenico, 8th grade student at Smithsburg Middle School. And Morgan Domenico, 10th grade student at Smithsburg High School.
Okay, normally what we do is we do, or you're giving them a certificate, or is that just your information?
No, this is just mine.
Okay, so what we'll do Ms. Shea first, if that's okay, and then Mr. Kiefer will present the certificate of recognition to Ms. Shea.
I have a couple goodies here for you. First of all, I'm going to read what Heather Williams wrote about you. She said some very nice things. Taylor is an outstanding student and leader at her school. She strives for excellent grades and is routinely on the honor roll. Taylor is also an 8th grade member
siblings. Megan is great with kids and helps with them at her church. Megan is extensively involved with her church's events such as Vacation Bible School, FCA, youth group, trunk or treat, youth band, and various other things. Giving back to the community is important to Megan because she enjoys helping out at the local reach shelter and nursing home. Very nice things that have been written about you. And if I didn't know any better, you must come from a volleyball family or something. Anyhow, on behalf of the county commissioners, we do have, gotta make sure I get the right one, Megan and Morgan. Okay, we do have a certificate of recognition in recognition of your outstanding achievement in being selected as a recipient of the November 2017 Youth Meritorious Award. Your academic accomplishments, leadership, and extracurricular activities are to be commended by both adults and peers in Washington County. In all aspects, we, the Board of County Commissioners of Washington County, Maryland, do hereby congratulate you on your achievement. Signed by all 5 county commissioners, and gold seal that's worth a lot of money. It's gold. And we also have a $100 Staples gift certificate for you. Is it $100, Wayne?
I hope so.
It is, yes. I will make sure.
If not, we'll make up the difference.
And that's to be spent on your dam. So make sure you pay for your dam. So there you go. And we also have a county lapel pin. And that's for you to enjoy the rest of your life. So congratulations. Thank you very much. And this is all your mom's fault. Okay, next will be Morgan Domenico. You were nominated by Jessica Cruz. Correct? Jessica Cruz endorsed the following. Megan is an excellent, well-rounded candidate for this award. Having known Morgan for several years, I've had the privilege of seeing her growth into a quality young lady. Morgan is an outstanding student and takes her academics very seriously. As a member of the National Junior Honor Society during her middle school years, Morgan strived to keep her grades at the highest in order to be inducted. Morgan strived to keep her grades at the highest in order to be an inducted member. Aside from an academic star, Morgan also excels on the court as a terrific volleyball, basketball, and softball player. Balancing both school and athletics is a true testament to how deserving of this award Morgan is. Morgan also is a role model to other students as she was a web leader as part of her middle school years and helped extensively with the incoming 6th grade students at school. She also spends much of her free time helping others outside of school while volunteering for many events with the Washington County Recreation Department and Youth Volleyball League. Having 2 smaller siblings, Morgan is great with kids and helps with them often after church. Morgan is extensively involved with her church's events such as Vacation Bible School, FCA, Young Life, Trunk or Treat, youth band, and various other things. Giving back to the community is important to Megan because she enjoys helping out at the local reach shelter and nursing home as well. So again, thanks to Ms. Cruz for nominating you. We also have a certificate of recognition, Morgan Domenico, in recognition of your outstanding achievement in being selected as a recipient of the November 2017 Youth Meritorious Award. Your academic accomplishments, leadership, and extracurricular activities are to be commended by both adults and peers in Washington County. In all aspects, we, the Board of County Commissioners of Washington County, Maryland, do hereby congratulate you on this achievement. Again, gold seal worth a lot of money, $100 gift certificate to be spent on your mom, and a county lapel.
Okay, we do the group.
And then we open it up for you to have pictures with your parents and so forth. I did forget to ask you who's present with you today. So if you may want
Yeah, let's go in front of there. Hey, Kirk. Hey, that looks good. Last one. Thank you. You want to do the parents?
Take pictures, we'll take them for you.
I'll take them for you.
Just tell us what you want to do.
You take it with your phone? Okay. Okay, one with mine. Sorry. Great, thank you. Here you go. Oh, wait, for me too. Great. And just to let you know, the photos will be posted on the Washington County Facebook page so that you can tag yourself if you'd like or show them off to your friends.
Conveyance of real property to Carmel Enterprises LLC, Ms. Small.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Today I am here to present the conveyance of property to Carmel Enterprises. I'm Susan Small, Real Property Administrator. The motion is to move to adopt the ordinance declaring 4,815 square feet, more or less, situate in the election district number 25 in Washington County, Maryland, along the northwesterly and northeasterly sides of North Jonathan Street in the city of Hagerstown, Maryland, as surplus, and to approve the conveyance of the same and authorize the execution of the necessary documentation to finalize the conveyance. The county's intent to convey the property was duly advertised on October 24th, 31st, and November 7th, and it's been determined by the county that the property is not needed for public use, and it is being conveyed in exchange for a parcel of land from Carmel Enterprises, LLC, equal in size, which is contiguous with the county-owned parcel, and which is needed for a proposed new parking lot for the county. There is no fiscal impact for this trade. And my concurrences are the Director of Engineering, and I've attached the proposed ordinance.
Any questions, comments?
Just to clarify, this is for the property right behind of us here?
Yes.
And so we get we're swapping two parcels, they're the same size, well,
Yes.
one parcel.
Yes, so the property that we purchased at 37 Jonathan, where we've demolished the small garage, we are trading that. They're getting 4,815 square feet, and they own the parcel directly next to it that we are actually taking so that the new county parking lot can be contiguous from Franklin Street all the way back to Wareham Alley. Yes, so they're exactly the
It's a
same.
benefit to both of us as well.
Yes, yes.
Right. I make a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second for the recommended motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Economic Development Commission, Mr. Slocum.
Yes, sir, thank you. There is an updated agenda report from what was posted last week, and Krista did try to get it reposted just this morning. But in your packages, the update is the fiscal impact. It is a lower cost than what was originally in there. Originally, it was just a miscalculation at $6,000, and now it's at $4,500. So the fiscal impact in the version you have should say $4,500. So what I'm approaching the board with is a move to include business expense account for the Economic Development Commission Board with the exception of ex officio members. The Economic Development Commission is made up of a total of 12 representatives, which includes 6 representatives on the executive board. With the election board, planning commission, zoning appeals, electrical board, and plumbing board. Some of those boards do receive payment for their duties, and the women's board is slightly different in that a spending account is provided on an annual basis. The EDC is charged with the following strategic aligned commitments aligned with the Washington County Division of Business Development, assist with retention and growth of existing business, attract new business to Washington County, emphasizing targeted industries, facilitate workforce development for existing and targeted business, identify and prioritize economic development infrastructure needs and opportunities, and to support continued cooperation with the public and private sectors toward achieving economic development objectives. To successfully accomplish the mission, the EDC members must remain current on various industry topics, and also, just importantly, current on networking. What we've found is as many others have, is it's those networking skills and the networking communication that one out of 10 pieces of communication, or 100 maybe, may lead to something that's of an advantage for the county. This proposal will allow each member an annual spending account on a reimbursement basis for eligible expenses. Eligible expenses will include meals, travel, conference, and seminars which benefit the county in economic development. Expense approval will be determined by the executive board. So, as it's outlined now, obviously the commissioners have any authority to adjust those outlines or provide any other alternatives to this, including the value. And because 2 of our commissioners aren't here, if you wish to postpone this, that's certainly understandable as well.
We can wait. That's fine with me. I think this is a great idea. I think it is a way that our Economic Development Committee members can truly be representative of the county, of the commissioners, by having a little bit of leeway to attend a conference or gain information, or maybe chat with a potential business that might be willing to locate here. So I think it's definitely a move down the right track with Commissioner Myers and Barr being here, and they also serve in the EDC committee. Commissioner Baker, I'm okay with waiting until they're here.
Yeah, I am too.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Just the $44,500 total, that will come out of which budget?
Today, currently, it would most likely come out of the business development budget. I would like to look more closely at that with other savings that we've had, if that business development budget overall may be increased by $4,500 to account for it. We have had well over $100,000 in savings recently in operating budget, so I'd like to consider that as a whole. I will bring that back to you when I return this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Progress upon legal recommendations, Mr. Slocum.
Yes, sir, thank you. On October 3rd, 2017, the Board of County Commissioners received and approved legal recommendations to improve various county duties and obligations to citizens and staff. I would like to share with you today that the appropriate staff has been assigned to each action, recommendations, approved actions, and a status update on each action are attached. The policy updates formally presented to the Board of County Commissioners on October 31 of this year and November 7 of this year are currently under review, and those will return to you after the Thanksgiving break. Next week we don't meet. You will meet the following week, and those policies will be returned to you for your approval. Any questions, comments, or concerns either are being addressed or certainly will be addressed in that time. Policy updates are closely related to some of the legal recommendations. Staff will address all policy updates, comments received from the Board of County Commissioners, and present the policy updates again on November 28, 2017, as I just mentioned. Fiscal impact, it's important to note that the appropriate and timely execution of duties and obligations with the policies and actions above, as presented, will provide clear and consistent guidance to staff, thereby providing the best possible work environment, saving county resources, and improving efficiency. In other words, clear and consistent direction, policies to go by, and the recommendations made will only improve efficiency. Alternatives include to do nothing or otherwise change the current direction provided to staff. So, quickly, I'll try to run through these for the board and anyone in the audience. Number one action related to legal recommendations, a review of and recommendation upon Health and Human Services will be brought before the Board of County Commissioners. The reorganization will identify the position responsible for receiving, processing, and tracking complaints with both urgency and confidentiality. This is one that we had scheduled to bring before you today with both the absences and with other outstanding items, namely the reporting, which has been largely settled, I believe, now. That organization will occur most likely on the 28th of November or sometime early thereafter. Second, a policy regarding confidentiality, now in draft form, will be presented to the Board of County Commissioners in October with other new and updated policies. As already mentioned, the status of that policy recommendations formally presented October 31 are now under review by the Board of County Commissioners. Action. The harassment policy will be revised to better identify unprofessional and inappropriate behavior. The revision will be presented to the Board of County Commissioners in October with new and updated policies. Current status, policy recommendations, again, similar to the one above. Policy recommendations formally presented October 31, 2017 are now under review by the Board of County Commissioners. Action. A review of and recommendation upon Health and Human Services, very similar to the first one that I mentioned. And again, the status of that is the same as the one above, which is, first above, I should say, which is that will be postponed for further review when the policies are adopted, etc. And action for this page, the last action, Leroy Myers, all commissioners and senior staff will be scheduled to receive training to improve workplace productivity and professionalism. New and innovative methods will be recommended to the Board of County Commissioners to incent workplace productivity. Status, Health and Human Services has been assigned to address training under the recommended new organization and assignment of duties. Current policies are recommended for adoption prior to initiated training. So in other words, what we have is the policies that are up for review currently must be adopted, and then with that, some organization within Health and Human Services to receive those, as well as the County Attorney's Office to receive any type of complaints. And from there, we will continue to move on and progress toward final resolution. Next page. Action, telecommunications policy will be reviewed and presented to the Board of County Commissioners in October with new and other policies. Again, policy recommendations formally presented October 31st are now under review by the Board of County Commissioners. Next, action, the ethics policy will be reviewed in light of similar policies for other jurisdictions and states. The County Attorney's Office has initiated the action approved by the Board of County Commissioners. John is not here today. Kirk, if you care to speak to that at all, please feel free to do so.
Yeah, there are certain recommendations were made to update the ethics ordinance. They are going to be included and presented along with other changes to the ordinance that are required by legislation passed by the General Assembly this year.
Action, the appropriate staff in county will be consulted in light of this recommendation, and that is the ban of the use of ported communications. After some discussion with our information systems, also known as information technology, what has been done is modified ported accounts to retain a copy of messages for county records. So until this change was made, communication was not saved onto the county servers, and that those communications were not retained on record. Next, action. Meeting schedules will continue to include evening meetings with all municipalities in Morgansville, as well as work sessions and visits to companies, agencies, and events. The status of that is the Board of County Commissioners meeting schedule for the next 6 months, January through June, will be posted in November. Both electronically and in hard copy, the Board of County Commissioners has the proposed draft schedule. We did receive one comment already regarding the June 26 meeting for 2018. That is when the primaries are held, so the board may wish to consider changing that no meeting date on June 19 to June 26. Unless there's any exception, we'll go ahead and do that. Next, action. I have two more here. A policy will be drafted to address this recommendation. The policy will be presented to the Board of County Commissioners in October with new and updated policies. And that is prohibit the use of private cell phones in closed session. The status of that, as you know, policy recommendations formally presented October 31, 2017 are now under review by the Board of County Commissioners. Final recommendation, the policy pertaining to media contact will be reviewed in light of this recommendation. The status of that action is that we currently have a vacant Director of Public Relations. When that director position is filled, that policy will be reviewed along with many other operational and organizational items for consideration and improvement with both public relations and marketing. Keep in mind this will be a marketing as well as public relations, meaning marketing meaning more aggressive county marketing to the business community and business development. So all of that is the current status of those recommendations, and I hope you can see that staff is working very diligently on, and Steph happens to be here, who is a big part of working very diligently on these processes. Kendall and Kirk and John's office as well. So, comments or concerns?
Okay, anything else to add? Did I forget anything? Okay, a motion to go into closed session for reasons stated.